Hey everybody, welcome back to ADHD Surprise. I'm your host, Red Pirate Jamie, and today we're going to answer my most commonly asked question: how do I know if I have ADHD? So I saw something the other day that really made me think. Someone posted a screenshot of just a Google search, and it just started with, do I have? And do you know what was on the list? Go do an incognito Google search right now and type in, do I have? And here's what I found on mine. Do I have to wear a mask? Do I have anxiety? Do I have coronavirus? Do I have ADHD? Do I have depression? Man, do I have ADHD? It's the most common question that I get asked. And how do I know if I have ADHD? So today I want to walk you through the tool that I was given as I was seeking a diagnosis. And we'll just kind of go through the questions together. And then if you want to know more information, I'm going to put a link to the tool in the description. So you can go there, you can fill it out, and then you can bring that to your provider. And this is the tool that I'm going to share today is the Adult ADHD Self-Report Scale, the ASRS version 1.1. And it's just a list of symptoms that you check. Okay, so we're going to just play a game of 20 questions real quick and just kind of think to your mind, how often does this apply to you? Is it never? Is it sometimes? Is it very often? If you're getting a lot of, sometimes, often, and very often up in that range, it may be something where you want to pursue talking with a professional and finding out, do you really have it? Okay, so let's move right in. So the first one, number one, how often do you have trouble wrapping up final details of a project once the challenging parts are done? You got the majority of the work done, you push through, you got that, but then there's a little bit more to do, and it just seems really tough to get there. Number two, how often do you have difficulty getting things in order when you have to do a task that requires organization? Do you struggle getting yourself organized? Do you struggle gathering all the materials, getting them laid out, getting them prepared? Do you struggle putting things in a correct order to get the job done? Okay, number three, how often do you have problems remembering appointments or obligations, promises that you made? Are you forgetting, you have a friend who asks you to do something and then you remember a few days later, oh crap, I forgot to do that. It's that kind of thing. Number four, when you have a task that requires a lot of thought, how often do you avoid or delay getting started? This may be the procrastination bug. It's very common. Number five, how often do you fidget or squirm with your hands or feet when you have to sit down for a long time? Think about, being in class, in school, or at work. If you have to sit through a long meeting, what are your hands and feet doing during that time? Number six, how often do you feel overly active and compelled to do things like you were driven by a motor? Number seven, how often do you make careless mistakes when you have to work on a boring or difficult project? Okay, number eight, how often do you have difficulty keeping your attention when you're doing boring or repetitive work? Does your mind tend to wander? Do you lose track of what you're doing? 9, how often do you have difficulty concentrating on what people say to you, even when they're speaking to you directly? I'm talking to you. How often do you misplace or have difficulty finding things at home or at work? Do you have to do the phone wallet keys check? When you do the phone wallet keys check, do you have to go hunting around the house to find each one? Number 11, how often are you distracted by activity or noise around you? That's the squirrel from the movie Up. How often, number 12, how often do you leave your seat in meetings or other situations in which you're expected to remain seated? Again, this might be in the classroom or this might be at work. You're back in that meeting setting and not talking about the fidgeting with hands and feet, but you have to actually get up. You need to get up and walk around. use a standing desk, stand at the back of the room, things like that. Number 13, how often are you restless or fidgety? Number 14, how often do you have difficulty unwinding and relaxing when you have time to yourself? Number 15, how often do you find yourself talking too much when you're in social situations? Anybody ever tell you talk too much? Number 16, when you're in conversation, how often do you find yourself finishing the sentences of people you are talking to before they can finish them themselves? That one, I didn't realize I did until I saw this survey the first time. And then I realized I do it a lot, and I've been making a lot of apologies since. 17. How often do you have difficulty waiting your turn in situations when turn taking is required? 18. How often do you interrupt others when they're busy? I hate it when people do it to me, but I've noticed I do it to a lot of people. Okay, 19 and 20, I've added myself because there are a couple of very common things that I see. How often do you have difficulty regulating your emotions? Do strong emotions take control? Do you get angry and aggressive pretty easily, sometimes at the drop of a hat? Or are you overcome with other emotions? You know, being overly sad or too easily happy over, you know, a small thing might bring you just a ton of joy, maybe disproportionate to what others might. And number 20, low impulse control. That's another one that I see quite a bit, and I've experienced a lot myself, is just, you know, this idea that when you get an idea in your head and you think about it and then you do it, or you don't think about it, you just kind of do whatever pops in your head, and there isn't really much of a control necessarily on, or a check, you know, should I do this or should I not do it? Is this a good idea? It's just kind of a, ooh, that sounds really cool, I'm going to do it right now. So those are the 20 questions that I put together. Again, the 18 are from the self-report scale that I'm going to put in the description. The last 2 are from me. Now, I do need to put in, you know, a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a diagnostician. I'm just another person with ADHD. But this is the list that I was given and that my psychiatrist had me fill out, and was the primary component of me getting my diagnosis. So if you answered, you know, many of these questions positively, download the form, fill it out yourself, and take it to your service provider, take it to your doctor, take it to your psychiatrist, set up a meeting and say, hey, you know, here's my self-report scale, let's have a chat. And you can start there. Beyond that, while you're in that process, it's a great idea to connect with other people. Find, you know, connect with a Facebook group, go on Twitter. There are Discord ADHD support groups where you can join, you can find out more, you can connect with other people who are also learning and trying to, you know, start on this pathway. So thank you so much for those who have been here and have, you know, stuck through this far. In the next video, we're going to kind of talk about that process of seeking a diagnosis. So if you sat through this one and you're like, that's me, whoa, that one's really me, and you're like, what now? That'll be coming soon, probably sometime, you know, next week or so, but it's coming soon, so hold tight. But in the meantime, do those other things I said. Please check out the channel, check out my blog, just, you know, stick around and we'll have more great content to come. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to get notified every time I have a new video. And thank you guys for being here. This is Dread Pirate Jamie. Have a great day.